What's going on, everybody? My name is Drew and I like to draw cartoons. And with today's video, I'm going to be talking about probably my favorite series of drawings that I've done in 2025 so far. And in this series, I have drawn 20 different custom Invincible variants. Obviously, in Invincible Season 3, we had one of the best storylines of the series with the Invincible War storyline, seeing all these different Invincible variants, and obviously that is just also awesome and so iconic, and something that I even drew myself in different cartoon styles, taking those variants, drawing them in different cartoon styles. But with this series, it was a little bit different. I basically took a character, some other character in pop culture. It could be an Invincible show, or it could just be from something completely different. It could be from the DC, the MCU, even Star Wars, or something completely separate, and turning them into an Invincible variant. Now, when I turn these different characters into Invincible variants, or as like the template for Invincible variants, there's a few things that I kind of always follow with these drawings. One thing you'll notice is that it's always going to be like the Invincible base. He's always going to have like the eye in the suit. It's always going to have the Invincible suit as the main base. So you're also mainly going to see his hair in almost every single one. You'll see his ears poking out. In most of them, there are some exceptions. And then he's also always going to have the goggles that are ranging in colors. And you also most likely see a gap around his mouth that is also open and not covered by the suit. So those are the main guidelines that you'll see in basically every single one of these Invincible variants. And another quick point I want to make about these drawings before I fully dive in, every single one of these drawings is hand drawn and then put into Photoshop to add some more crisp colors to kind of represent more of like the cartoony look. It doesn't always work so well with just markers. I can only do so much with that. So I always will hand draw it myself and then put it into Photoshop from there, just as an FYI in case any of you are curious. And like I said, I've done 20 of them so far, so if you want to see more of them, make sure to throw some ideas in the comments of what other ones you may want to see. And I think without any further ado, we might as well just jump right into these 20. But before I do, as always, please make sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, and follow me on Letterboxd as well. The first Invincible variant we're going to talk about is the Rexplode variant. Rexplode's whole sacrifice in Invincible Season 3 is one of the best moments of the season. So it makes sense to want to start out with this, almost like it's Invincible making an homage to Rexplode, having his own suit that's tailored around Rexplode. So in the finished product, you'll see he has similar hair to Rexplode. He has kind of like the collar, the similar collar that Rexplode has. And you'll see the eye and the color scheme. And he also has like connectors on his goggles that are similar to Rexplode's goggles in a way that you'll see right here in the finished product of Rexplode Invincible, the first variant we'll talk about today. And the next variant we're going to talk about is not based on an Invincible character, but based on an MCU character. The next one is based on Loki. It's going to be basically the same thing with the same guidelines I mentioned before, except it's going to have some green, some gold. It's going to have the horns like he had in Avengers 1. And he's also going to have the long flowing hair and a cape as well, similar to the way that it's set up where Sinister Mark and Omni-Man Mark kind of have the cape that's kind of a part of the suit as well. That you'll see right here in the finished product for Loki Invincible. The next variant we'll talk about is one of the more unique looking ones just because the character is just so very different, and I wanted to make sure I added as many elements from this character as possible, and that is Conquest. Obviously, that fight with Conquest is one of the best moments in the entire series, one of the best fight scenes in the entire series. So I want to try to see how I could mesh Conquest and Invincible. It was kind of a challenge, but I based it mainly off of the Viltrumite Mark that has the mustache and has the whole white and gray outfit. That was kind of the base for it. And then I also want to make sure including his goggles, and you'll notice that one goggle is like a lighter gray compared to like the darker gray, symbolizing his eye that's kind of glossed over. And you also see the scar on his face that you'll see right here in the finished product for Conquest Invincible. And the next variant we'll talk about here is the first DC character, and that is Superman. This one I took a lot of inspiration from the newer David Cornsweet James Gunn suit, where it's got kind of the lighter shade of blue. You got to have the hair that's down over his face, the iconic Superman hair, obviously. And he's going to have the blue suit, the red cape. He's going to have the yellow eye in the middle for the suit. And then he's going to have red goggles to symbolize his heat vision that you'll see right here in the finished product for Superman Invincible. And the next one I'm going to talk about is one of my favorites just because I just absolutely love the character design for this character, and that is Robot. I'm just absolutely obsessed with everything about the look of the Robot suit. It's just so cool. I love the colors. I love the mask. It's just so, like, if they were to sell a mask like that, that would be something I would love to have in my room as display. It's just so freaking cool. So obviously with this one, it's going to be very heavily leading into the robot look, just because there's not really much else I could do with it. You're going to see some like line work that shows the eye on the chest, and then obviously the green goggles, and you'll see some hair showing as well that you'll see right here in the finished product for Robot Invincible. We are just about through the first 6, and the 6th one I'll talk about today is based on Mr. Incredible. This was one of the more obscure ones compared to the other ones that are kind of more related to the MCU or Invincible or the DC universe. So this one was a really fun one to try to do. I went with the blue and black Mr. Incredible suit rather than the family red one. And obviously his has the eye on the chest as well, so there's not really much else I got to do with that suit. And I just wanted to also add some other aspects to make it more like Invincible. He's obviously going to have the dark hair. His goggles are going to be red. I feel like that matched the suit the best. And you'll see that right here with Mr. Incredivincible. And the next Invincible variant is based off of the look of Star-Lord. Star-Lord's helmet in the MCU is one of my favorite MCU helmets. Probably one of my favorite helmets just in all of like pop culture. I just absolutely love the whole aesthetic of it, the whole look of it. So it's so fun to try to translate that into an Invincible variant. Obviously, it's very heavily based off of that. And with the suit and with that mask and his whole look overall, he's going to have the red jacket, and he'll have a gray and yellow suit kind of under the jacket. And he already has the hair flowing off the top, so that's not going to really be anything different. But you'll see the finished product right here for Star-Lord Invincible. And the next one I'm going to do here is one that was actually very highly requested as I was doing this series, and that is basing it off of Adam Eve. Obviously, Adam Eve and Mark's whole relationship is one of the best relationships in the show. It was one that we were very heavily rooting for a very long time. So one of the things I love about Invincible Season 3 is the fact that they finally got together. We finally got to see them in a relationship. So obviously it's not really going to be that much different. I added like maybe some like flowier hair for Mark for this one, but everything is going to be very tailored around Adam Eve's color scheme. Obviously like the shades of pink, and he'll have pink lenses as well that you'll see right here in the finished product with Adam Eve Invincible. And the next one is another one that was very highly requested, and that is Spider-Man. I've been seeing a lot of stuff where it's like Invincible collabing with Spider-Man and a lot of different things. A lot of people drawing stuff like that. All looks so cool, so I really wanted to give this a try. It's basically just taking the basic Invincible suit, adding the Spider-Man webbing, adding the red and the blue color scheme, and I also made the lenses bigger and more shaped like the Spider-Man lenses, where it comes to like a point at the top. It's kind of like a D shape almost, and then you'll see his hair falling at the top, which is a little bit different from the Spider-Man suit, but it makes it more like an Invincible suit that you'll see right here for Spider-Vincible. Keep trucking along, and the next one is a Ben 10 variant. This one was honestly kind of a challenge because it was almost more based on the look of the Omnitrix itself. Obviously, Ben 10 just kind of has this basic, white shirt with a black stripe down the middle, but I wanted to base it more off the Omnitrix. So it's going to have the green, black, dark gray, white color scheme. It's going to have some like lighter gray accents similar to the look of the Omnitrix, and it's going to have the eye in the middle is going to be very reminiscent of like the hourglass shape in the middle of the Omnitrix. And you'll see that all right here in the finished product for Ben 10 Invincible or Omnitrix Invincible. And the next Invincible variant template is definitely one of my favorites, and that is Darth Maul. Obviously, with this one, you're just going to take the basic whole look of the Invincible suit, and then you're going to add the incredibly iconic face markings of Darth Maul, adding it to the chest area as well. And then he'll have some horns on the suit itself, but his hair is also going to be kind of spiked up, similar, kind of reminiscent of Darth Maul's horns. And his lenses are going to be a yellow shade based on the color of Darth Maul's eyes that you'll see right here for Darth Maul Invincible. Now, this next one is not really much of an Invincible variant. It's just basically what I think it would look like if Invincible got tangled up with the Venom symbiote. It's basically a venomized Invincible. Not really much else I got to describe from there. But he's still going to have the opening, but you'll see like the lines around it similar to like the look of maybe Topher Grace's Venom, where he has all those lines around him, and this look of like the Venom symbiote going all over someone's body. And then his lenses are going to be reminiscent of the Venom eyes, kind of similar to the Spider-Man one, but come to a little more of a point. And then his suit is also going to be a little bit different. Like the eye is going to come to more of a point, kind of similar to how the Spider-Man logo changes when he becomes like the Venomized version that you'll see right here in the finished product. Also with the long tongue hanging out, of course, for Venomized Invincible. We are down to the last 8. We are over halfway through, and the next one I'll talk about is Batman Invincible. This was another one that was very, very highly requested. For this one, I wanted to not just go off of like the basic like full black suit for Batman. I wanted to go off more of like the navy blue, gray, and yellow look. So that's where you're going to see a lot of the inspiration for this. Obviously, you'll have the cowl. You'll still see his hair at the top. And the cowl already is very similar to how Invincible suit is set up, so there's not really much difference there. But then the cowl is going to go into a cape over the top that's going to be blue, and then he's going to have the gray suit, and then you'll have some like Batman symbolism with the eye on the chest that you'll see right here for Bat-Vincible. Now, this next one is not really a character I'm very familiar with, but I know that he's had his, collabs with Invincible, and he was supposed to basically be in the Invincible War storyline, and that is Spawn. Again, not really a character I'm familiar with. It's an absolutely badass character design, don't get me wrong. So it was really fun to try to take this character and turn it into an Invincible variant. Obviously, he's going to have the very like the spiky cape on the side. He's going to have the green eyes, and he's going to have all those aspects to his face. Kind of like it's kind of like similar looking to Venom in my opinion. And then he's going to have the cape, the skull and chain cape connector in the middle of his chest that you'll see right here in the finished product for Spawn Vincible. And next up, I have a Moon Knight variant. Now, Moon Knight is one of the most underrated MCU projects in my opinion. I also could argue it's one of the most overhated ones. And I just really love it. I love Oscar Isaac's performance. I love the show so much, and I wish we could get a season 2 sometime. But anyway, the whole look of Moon Knight is so freaking good in the MCU show. So it was very fun to try to take inspiration for that. Obviously, it's going to have, the mask going to be very tailored around like the mummified look almost. He's going to have the white lenses that almost look like they're glowing in a way. He's going to have the hood. And also at the top of the hood, he usually has like a crescent moon. Anywhere he'd usually have a crescent moon, he's going to have more of an eye shape. So you're going to see more of an eye shape here and more of an eye shape here as well. That's more of a dark gray and more mummified accents along the chest as well. That you'll see right here in the finished product for Moon Knight Vincible. Now, these next 3 I'm going to talk about are all pretty obscure with how they turned out, especially compared to the rest of them, because the next one is a Shrek Invincible variant. This one was a real challenge and really interesting, but I absolutely love how it turned out. Basically taking Shrek's whole look, the gray, top that he has and the brown vest, turning that into the Invincible suit where you can see the accents that show the eye and the chest, and then also having that come up to his face. You'll see the ears poking out, his green skin, and he'll also not have black hair, more like the ginger dark brown hair, more like that. And you'll see that right here in the finished product for Shrek Vincible. And this next one I did is based on a comment I saw on YouTube, and that was someone basically making the idea of making Invincible someone who's like the same species as Alan the alien. The finished product basically just looks like Alan in an Invincible suit, but it still kind of serves the same purpose. There's not really much else I got to explain there. The orange skin, the spiky ears, the one eye, obviously, the no nose, and then more of like the teal and white suit that he has when he's more jacked later on in the series. That you'll see right here in the finished product. And I guess you can call it Alan Vincible the Alien, something like that. But there's the finished product for that one. And just because of how absurd this one turned out, this may be my favorite, and it's a Perry the Platypus Invincible variant. Obviously, this one's going to be absolutely bonkers. For this one, he's going to have a mainly teal suit with some orange accents. The orange accents on his chest are going to have some diagonal lines to symbolize that it's more similar to his tail. And then he's also going to have a duck bill on his face and the iconic brown fedora on his head that you'll see right here for Perry the Platypus Vincible. Now, there's only 2 left to talk about. The next one I'm going to talk about is me as an Invincible variant. If you've been following my account for a while, you know that I'm doing a 100 cartoon style challenge right now. And one of the styles that I did was the Invincible style. And I decided to take myself and turn myself into an Invincible variant, basically taking the template of an Invincible variant, Invincible suit, making the suit more like blue and like a grayish dark blue, similar to the color of my shirt in every single one of my drawings I've been doing. And then also the goggles are going to be a little bit bigger and have straps on them to basically represent my glasses. And I'll have the brown hair up top that you'll see in the finished product of myself as an Invincible variant. And we're down to the last Invincible variant. Even though I made variants of this variant, it's the last one I'm going to talk about. And it's also the art that got me the most popular post I've ever had on Instagram. And that's LeBron Vincible. I was doing a series where I was drawing LeBron in some different cartoon styles, and Invincible was one of them. So I decided to take that and make him into an Invincible variant, having the goggles, having the suit, and then having LeBron around it. And then instead of an eye and the chest, it's more of like a crown shape because he's King James, obviously. And then you'll see right here in the finished product, here's the first one I made. The first one I made was more tailored around him being on the Lakers. So it's got Lakers colors. And then I went into Photoshop and put in some more aspects of making it look like his first stint in Cleveland, his time in Miami, his second stint in Cleveland, some variants of that one as well, because there were so many awesome jerseys and colors for that as well. And then there was one more that I made that was more tailored around like the Viltrumite color scheme with some gold goggles to represent GOAT Invincible, in my opinion, because LeBron James is the greatest player of all time, and I wanted to have something to kind of represent that. But anyway, there's all the LeBronsible variants, some of my favorite drawings that I got to make this year. So there you have it. There's all 20 Invincible variants that I got to make this year. My favorite series of drawings that I made this year. Probably one of my favorite ever as a content creator as well. Y'all seem to really love this series. So if you want to see more of them, make sure to let me know. I love making these. Let's see how many more I can make. If y'all really enjoy this, I can definitely keep making them. But there's also plenty of other content coming out right now. I'm still doing my 100 style challenge like I just mentioned. Keep throwing ideas out there for that. I'm only in like the 30s right now. Keep suggestions coming. I really want to see if I can make it to 100. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch my videos. I really do appreciate it so much. And as always, please make sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, and follow me on Letterboxd as well. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and keep on drawing.